Hello, welcome to the Healthy Alternatives podcast. I am Dr. Christine Sauer with DocChristine.com. Today's show is a recording of my radio show of the same name. Enjoy! Good afternoon, this is Dr. Christine Sauer, your host of the show Healthy Alternatives here on 97.5 CIOE FM with live stream on communityradio.ca every Thursday at 12 noon Atlantic Standard Time. Thanks for tuning in today. In this show, I will talk, mostly with guests, about all aspects of health, healthcare and wellness, from conventional to alternative and everything in between. My mission for this radio show is to help change people's lives for the better by informing them about different options to get and stay healthy and well so they can choose for themselves which option might work in their case. And if you feel you are stuck in a dark place, I want to tell you, don't give up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for you too. So today I'm extremely pleased to be with John Kennedy, who is a quite well-known cartoonist with a speckled history and embodies not to give up. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you very much. Thanks for welcoming me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Sure.
And tell us a little bit about where you come from and what made you a cartoonist eventually.
Come about, yeah. Well, I'm originally from the north of Ireland. I was born and bred there, and it was a very difficult childhood to grow up in. We were constantly fed murder and mayhem. It was daily. I honestly don't know how we survived it. A lot of my friends were murdered, but most of us survived and got through it. And my way of escaping this madness was through my art.
When did you discover that you were talented?
I've been drawn, Christine, for all my life, and I there's nobody in my family who's ever was able to draw. It's a God-given gift.
Wow.
You know, so it just came out. To be honest with you, it just came out of the blue, and I still don't get it myself, because when I sit in front of a blank page and I produce that image that comes out at the end, I don't know how I did it, to be honest with you.
Wow.
But
you know, that's really amazing to me, because I can draw.
Yeah.
When I try to draw, something childish comes out of it.
Yeah.
And I seen your art
Yeah.
here in 97.5 in the gallery today, and oh my God.
Thank you.
It is amazing.
Thanks.
So
well, when I was growing up, I would draw anything and everything, and I was well known for it within the area where I grew up. But to cut a long story short, there I actually ended up going to the University of Ulster, Belfast, and it was an unusual thing for me, because I am from a working class background, and it's more like you actually go into the local factory to work, or a mill or whatever. But I was actually got the chance to go to university, and I done a year's foundation course in art and design, and then after I had that done, I had two choices. I had one to either continue my degree with a degree at the University of Belfast, or I had to take up residency at the Royal Academy of Art in London.
Yeah.
Yes, so at that time, my peers were expecting me to take the big move across the water, and everyone was delighted. But I actually met my wife, my future wife, so that changed everything.
Sure.
And I have no regrets, So it would have been a different world. I could have left Belfast, a very traumatized city.
Yeah.
But just things work out,
I hear you. Love keeps you here, and I know that's why I'm still in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, exactly.
My husband is from here, and I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just follow your heart.
That's right.
But it all worked out in the end, I ended up, doing art ever since, so.
What kind of art did you get attracted to?
Yeah, well, I was doing everything and everything. I can draw anything, I can do anything. There's nothing I can't do. But over the since I went to college, university in 1986 I started, I realised my forte was cartooning because I found I always wanted to go into children's books illustration.
Okay.
So I found my own style. I use my own type of paint as a gouache, which dries flat, which is perfect for children's artwork. But I developed it from there, and now I do everything again and anything within the cartoon world. So
yeah, that is fascinating. Isn't it fun how something eventually works?
Yeah.
Now, I know there was a big break in your life at some point that you ended up getting homeless.
Yeah.
And I know right now you're not sharing why. You will write a book about it. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about how that was.
Yeah.
That when you were really down in your luck.
Yeah. Well, the book itself will actually, I've written most of it right now, but I changed the introduction. The introduction is going to be me standing on our lunch last night. Mm-hmm. So it's like a comparison from there to where I used to be. Mm-hmm. So the introduction is going to be here, starting here in front of everyone. And the story, I'm going to talk about my life growing up in Belfast, what it was like to live through the Troubles, what it was like to lose friends within the Troubles, how I got homeless, the details there, and the people that I met and who I owe a lot to get me out of that situation. It was at the time, it was a very, very dark world I was in. To be homeless is a terrible thing. I would never wish it on anyone.
No, it's quite interesting, and I mean, I've known homeless people, and those who know me a little bit is I know the mental hospital from the inside. I spent more than 4 weeks in it, so I have an idea how people that are homeless often have mental health issues, or addiction issues, or other issues. There's usually a good reason why somebody ends up with that misfortune, and maybe you can describe a little bit for our viewers what's the worst part about it. Yeah,
the worst part for me was deep depression, and that could have led to any direction at all.
Sure.
And I say, without the intervention of maybe family and friends, and the St. Vincent de Paul, by the way, who were absolutely tremendous. I knew about the St. Vincent de Paul, but at the time, their work goes it's unbelievable what people can do.
So when you were homeless, were you still in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, I was in Belfast actually.
And what do you do in the winter? It's cold.
Oh yeah, it's a cold experience, but it's not as cold as here. So that was the benefits.
Did you have a shelter to go to, or did you just suffer through it?
No, I ended up going into a shelter, and that was the help of local politicians. A man called Alex Atwood. He was an MLA in the local government, and his brother Tim Atwood, who was a councillor, and they're from a political party called the SDLP, which I would it's a very moderate nationalist party, Irish nationalist party, and the person I would dealt with all the time would have been a woman called Margaret Walsh. She was a saint, absolute saint. And she's had help. That woman deserves a medal for the work that she's done with people.
That is amazing.
Yeah, she is an amazing person.
And we need those saints. And it's good that you share that there are people like that and that they make a difference.
They do. And everybody criticises politicians. You have your good and your bad. But the two guys that I dealt with, especially Alex Atwood, he opened doors for me that I would never thought would open. And it all happened overnight. And next minute I was in a shelter. With a roof over my head, and I couldn't believe it. But from then, I got back on my feet, and that's how I got together.
No, so those two people really helped you get back on your feet?
The two Atwood brothers, and they were councillors or politicians, and particularly Margaret Walsh, who was there 24 hours.
Now, how long about were you homeless? How many months, years?
It was actually 5 months.
5 months?
5 months.
During the winter?
Yes.
So
Christmas was a very depressing day.
I can
Christmas
imagine.
Day. It was terrible, absolutely terrible.
And you were outside, or did you?
No, I was actually inside at that stage. But as I said, it's very hard for me to talk about now because it's in the past. I'm doing very well right now. So
I know when we talk about things that are in the past and that were very hard, we could take back.
Yeah.
And we start feeling all those
emotions again, and it's
it's tough.
It is tough, yeah.
And I hear you, and I don't want to drag you in there, because thankfully that is resolved for me, myself, and for you, and that is wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's also important that people that might listen that are in a dark place hear that other people have been there.
Yes.
And that there's a way out of it.
Oh, yes, there
is. And that's why my motto is there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I often have to say it's not a freight train. Really, it isn't.
Exactly, yes, exactly.
and when I get that, it's a freight train, then I always feel sad because that person
has given up.
Yeah.
But honestly, if anybody's out there who needs to talk.
Find somebody to talk to.
Find somebody, and there's always somebody there who will listen. Always.
And if the first person doesn't listen, try somebody else.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes strangers listen better than family.
Yeah.
It really...
Oh, yes, definitely. That's the truth.
And sometimes you need professional help, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And you were very fortunate to find those wonderful people, as you say.
Yeah. Because even I grew up from a working class area, and to show your emotions was a no-no.
Especially for men, probably.
Especially for men, yeah. And Belfast, it was not. But now it's easier now for me to talk about it. So I know it's hard, but it's easier, if I can say it that way.
And I mean, it is really important to me to share those stories from struggle to getting back on the feet and coming back out a better person, a happier person, and a more successful person in the end, in some way.
Yeah. I'm not trying to boost myself here, but I am the person that you should look at and see how well I've done.
Right.
I'm living in Canada now, Christine. I have my own home. I bought my own home. I've got my own car. I've got a talent that goes beyond.
Amazing. Yeah. And I'm looking very much forward in the second half of the broadcast to talk some more about your way from street to being in a house that you bought yourself with hopefully a wife.
Yes, yeah.
No, that is exciting. So
perfect.
Please tune in after the commercial break for more about John Kennedy and his way through the tunnel to the light. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Healthy Alternatives here on 97.5 CIOE FM or on the web at communityradio.ca. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer, and today I'm talking with John Kennedy, who is a cartoonist with a very interesting history. And if you missed it, I recommend you listen to the first half again. And John, in the first half, welcome back first.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine.
In the first half, we shared a little bit about how you basically went to the bottom of the earth in Belfast. Mm-hmm. Now tell us a little bit about how it continued. You met some saints that helped you get back on your feet, but how did you end up here in Canada in the end?
Well, it was a long process from there, but after my initial near breakdown, you could say, I got back on my feet. And I started to do my art again, which was a sort of therapeutic thing for me. Mm-hmm. And it was hard at the start knocking on closed doors, but eventually the newspapers started to take notice. So I worked for quite a lot of newspapers as a political cartoonist, which is a very dangerous thing to do in Belfast at times.
I can imagine.
So I had to be very careful. Mm-hmm. But I became more shrewder. You know, I became more aware of things, but at the same time, I became a more happier person after the whole thing ended. And even now today, I look forward to a day with happiness. I try to avoid negativity at all stages.
Isn't it amazing how when we overcome hardship and struggle, we end up in a better place?
We do. And as a human, I would consider myself as a human being. Right. I welcome people. I'm happy to see them, and that's what life's all about, Christine. Life's too short, because I realised that at the time that life was too short. But as I said, the things got better. My work became known, I wasn't a wealthy guy. There wasn't enough. There's a lot of cartoonists out there, but the work wasn't regular enough to make it a full-time job. But I was getting enough to continue what I was doing. I always held down a full-time position. But at the time, I made the three promises to myself. One was to never to be homeless again. Never. The second was to always work hard. Everything I did, I worked hard at it. And the third one was to always give back when I could. And I've continued to do that ever since.
That is amazing. Now, you said something, you met your wife before or after you were homeless?
Yeah, before, yeah.
Did she stick with you?
Oh, yeah, we've been together I've known my wife for a long, long time before that. And we got together and we have 3 young kids. And Belfast, as I said, the Troubles has affected us all in a different way. But we managed to get through it. And in 2007, we actually made the first moves to immigrate. We came to Canada, this part of Canada, actually, Nova Scotia, on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
And we could have went anywhere in the world because we never had a record or anything. We had a clean record.
Yeah.
Not many people that I grew up with did. But we could have went anywhere in the world. We came here for a vacation, as I said, and this was the perfect place to raise children in Nova Scotia. We were going to go to Toronto because we're from a big city, but here it blew us away. And then we applied, and it took a couple of years to get through all the red tape. And
it took me 4 years with my ex and my 2 kids. Yeah.
And then actually 2007 and 2010, which is 3 years later, roughly, we landed on the shores of Halifax.
2013.
10.
2010.
10.
Yeah.
And then we, since then, we actually had a house in Belfast. Which now this is a stroke of luck. Actually,
tell me.
We bought our house for £30,000 there.
Oh wow!
Now, but the so-called peace process broke out in 1998, right?
Okay.
Which is a fake process, to be honest with you. The house prices rocketed, so we benefited down the line on that whole peace process. Yeah. So we were happy enough, and that's how we got here. We always wanted to come, but without that boost, divine intervention, I don't know. But we sold our house, and we spent every penny to get here, and we did. And the reason why is because we didn't want our children to grow up the same way the way I grew up, or my wife grew up, or the violence. We wanted them to be children. And
how old were your children when you came here?
My daughter was, oh my God, she's 24 now, so that's gone back a bit. I can't, whatever teenager. That is. She's a teenager. And my other 2 boys, they were young. But my daughter now, they've done so well. My daughter's a sound engineer. She works for the media. And my son's going to be a police officer, RCMP. And my other wee guy, he's going to be a firefighter. So we've done the right thing, and we own our own house now. We have good jobs. I get commissioned as a cartoonist as well. It's so have 2 jobs, But everything's worked out a treat.
So you are the embodiment of that. From long struggle and strife can come happiness and even moderate wealth.
Yeah, Christine.
And yes, we are all wealthy in a way because we have to eat. And from being homeless to, you probably appreciate, like I do, everything that we get in positive.
Yeah.
Every nice day we can breathe.
Yeah.
We are warm. We have to eat. We have to drink.
Yeah.
We even get to talk on the radio. Hey, that's cool. and what would you say to somebody that's young, like your children, that are struggling and thinking about going in the dark? Yeah. Thinking about running away because the parents don't treat them the way they think they should be treated. I mean, parents are not perfect. No parent is.
No.
What would your advice be?
There's always light at the tunnel, and the thing that I speak about the most would be to talk. Talking gets a lot of emotions out in the open, and there could be some misunderstandings there, So all to do is clear the air, say what you need to say, be nice when you do it. What's the saying that hurt people just because they enjoy the rush. So if you're hurt, you'll try and hurt somebody for the sake of it. So try and avoid that as much as possible. That's actually a lyric from an Irish band called Walking on Cars. Actually, I love poetry. I love words, and all them things add up.
You're a true artist.
Yeah. I enjoy all types.
And I love that advice. Talk with your children.
Yeah.
Don't delegate that to social media and the TV. And listen to what they say. Don't jump into judging them and criticizing them just for thinking things that may not be what they really want to do.
Exactly, yeah. Each generation is different. I know, and I try to get my kids off the internet. I don't want them to be sitting up in the room. I get them involved with things and get them out there. And my son, they're going to Hope Cottage actually through this exhibition to go down and help. That'll be an good experience for them all. So they have to experience life. It's not about sitting in the room with a computer or your phone and get on the internet, because that's a false world.
It's a false world. Yeah. And I sometimes say social media can be very asocial.
It is. It can be. When you have people going on, when you have kids now, I've read about this, sitting in their rooms, and they have 6 million friends on Facebook. They're not friends.
No.
These are...
suckers.
Yeah, these are... what's the word?
Distractions.
Yeah. And there's some nasty people out there who will make life very difficult, and people believe it. If they put something on social media, they think if they don't get a like, it drives them nuts. So you have to try and avoid that. Go out there and make friends and talk and enjoy life, play sports, see the light of the day, look around you what you have. Yeah. There's people in Africa with far, far less. Right. And they're actually in downtown Halifax.
They're happier than here.
Yeah.
In downtown Halifax, people are homeless right now.
Yeah.
They're hungry.
Yeah, they're hungry and they're
cold in the winter. Yeah.
So that whole thing with Hope Cottage with my kids, that'll show another part which I'm delighted that they're going down to do.
And you're giving back.
Yes.
And I know from yesterday's show you donate everything to Hope Cottage.
Yeah, everything. I paid for it all myself. Yeah. I was offered help and I says no, because I didn't feel right. If somebody helped me to say the framing of the pieces, it wouldn't be a fulfillment for me. So I had to do it all myself. I didn't care how much it cost me. I just had to do it all myself, and whatever. I've sold them all actually, just except for 2, which will sell.
Which is wonderful, and it is great art.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody that bought one is fortunate to have a piece of you.
Yeah. I know, exactly.
Of your art. No.
But they're all originals. And,
now, to end the show, what is a good way to contact you? How could people get hold of you if they want to look at your art, if they want to contact you, maybe commission a special caricature?
Sure, yeah. I'm on Facebook under John Kennedy Cartoons. Now, people say, why don't you get a website? And I say, no, because it costs me. So my Facebook's free, why not?
Yeah, and you're doing well without it. So
yeah, I'm doing well. There's no point in me doing it, so I'm doing well without it. So it's a busy time, but if you ever do need work done, just give me time, because I've got a list that, before the show and after the show. So I always have a steady list going,
That's wonderful.
But I spend an hour every night doing it, so, that's good. It's good fun.
That's really amazing. Now, what's your biggest advice you want to give to somebody that got stuck somewhere and...
There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Always keep focused on the light, not the light of life.
Yeah, the light
not the light of darkness, because when they say when you die, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Not that light, the light of life.
Light of life.
And it always works out. In your small world, there's a different world out there.
Yeah, and I always share the image that I had as a child driving through the mile-long tunnels in Europe.
Yes.
To the Alps.
Yes.
It was very dark going in, no lights, nothing.
Yes.
And then there comes a sudden turn because they're not straight.
Yes.
And at the end, the southern sun brightens your spirit.
Yes, exactly.
That's the image I mean.
Yeah. So I grew up in a dark world. Yeah. I murder and mayhem. Now I'm living in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
And now you're brightening the spirit of everybody around you.
Yes, exactly. And it's a completely different change, different person that I was. And I'm happier in this world that I'm in right now. And it's going to stay like that. So,
Thank you so much for being on my show, John.
Sure.
It was a true pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to get to know you.
Yeah, you got a lot out of me, Christine, because I usually don't talk about it, but, it's good feeling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for sharing. And it is an amazing experience, not just for me learning from you, but also for my listeners, I'm sure.
Same back.
And that brings me to the end of today's show.
Okay.
Please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions, thoughts, comments, or suggestions. Or if you'd like to contact John and forgot his website, my email here is christine@communityradio.ca, and I'm always grateful for any feedback. I also want to extend a special thank you to today's producer, Luke Edinger. You're the best. Hi, Luke. Thank you all for listening to Healthy Alternatives. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer. Tune in next Thursday at noon on 97.5 CIOE FM Community Radio with live stream on communityradio.ca for the next episode. Goodbye and have a great day.